Hello, I am going to make a quickish video just to talk a little bit about some of the gameplay. I was looking back and some of the fish. Some of the and closing the loop. This is where you turn in the fish to get the money. I was talking to one of my buddies, and he was saying that this game seems really cool, but he has no idea what's happening when he watches some of the gameplay on the interwebs. And so I wanted to take some time and maybe explain it a little bit, especially just because I know there can be a lot that's happening on the screen at one time, so it is a little bit unclear as to, like, are you winning? What is happening here? So hopefully I can explain some of that.
You are as multifaceted as anyone I know.
And also, I am on a quest to get all my weapons up to 15 heat. I've done them all except for the spear, and so I was going to save the level 15 run as a speed run and probably my last Hades recording for a while, because I would like to play some of these new games coming out. Like I bought Sifu, and then Splatoon 3 is coming out, and Overwatch 2, and God of War. So, and I want to replay The Last of Us. So, definitely going to make some changes coming up soon. Also, I want to do a recording for Fall Guys. I showed one of my buddies Fall Guys, and actually I've shown a lot of people Fall Guys, and they've all been really impressed just by how cute and fun it is. So I think that would be a good recording to do as well. So let me... Honestly, no. I was going to say I should take everything off, and that might make it easier to explain, but I don't think that's necessarily true. So let's not. But one thing I will do is explain these three, since they'll be the ones that are on. So extreme measures makes it so that every boss gets at least one new quirk about them. Like, it can be that it removes some of the stable ground you have to stand on. It can be that instead of fighting one boss, you're fighting two bosses. It can be that they get new armor and moves and stuff. So that is a big part of the game. And then benefits package. Yeah, so perks can be anything like they teleport, or they attack faster, or they have armor, or the first time you hit them it doesn't actually do damage, and they can replenish that every so often. And then middle management is just kind of like the mini boss version of extreme measures. So yeah, let's
This ought to be interesting.
let's just pop in, and I'll explain the stuff that I can control first, and then we can talk about enemies. So you have quite a few things at your disposal. Sorry. There's a dash, which lets you pretty much just go invisible / invincible for a second. So like these hands in the floor here, I can't actually walk over them, but if I dash, I can go over them. So a dash helps you cover larger distances, and I can maybe show you some of that later. It also, whenever you're in the middle of your dash, you can't be hit. So that's the invincible / invisible kind of part there. Enemies don't really lose track of you, but they kind of do. So that's the dash. This is the standard attack. It looks different for each individual weapon, but this is the spear, so we have a little bit of range. You can see like the very tip of it is almost kind of, maybe if I walk over here. Yeah, so you can see the tip of it going past that portal in the floor. And then if I hold the attack button, I get this spinning attack, which is one of the aspects of this particular weapon. If I hit someone with this spinning attack, it makes them take more damage for a special amount of time. And then we have our special attack, which is, in this case, throw your spear and bring it back. And then we have a cast, which is this. And so once I throw my cast, I can't throw it anymore. It says I need to retrieve this. So once I retrieve these, I can throw 3 more. And then I can't throw again, and I retrieve them, etc., etc. Also, if you leave them out for long enough, they will eventually return to you. And if you just kind of saw it there, but if you walk close enough to them, they'll get sucked up to you, kind of like the rings in Sonic. So that is mostly it. There's a summon, which is the thing in the top left. You see that little I guess it's an ant. It's just like a gift that one of my friends gave me that allows me to summon them and they'll help me out in a fight. And then once if I get it, I can use a call which uses strength from Olympus, one of these gods, to help me fight, or I can use my father's call, Hades. So those are all kind of like the offensive weapons at play, except for there are these walls, which are kind of like traps, or I'll say these are columns. Yeah, so there's columns in this particular chamber. These are traps. So if I hit someone against this wall, not only do I deal extra damage for hitting them against the wall, but then stuff can fall from the columns or the ceilings or whatever and damage them as well. So there are lots of different traps in the game, and it kind of depends on which world you're in. So those are all the things that I can control by myself. There are also boons.
Your lifeless foes must foolishly believe they've nothing left to lose.
Nothing left to lose. So this is Demeter. She's one of the gods. She's the goddesses. She's the goddess of seasons. I don't know why she's the goddess of seasons, though. Maybe. I guess we do kind of get to see it. I was gonna say we only really get to see her like inflict chill, but we do get to see some like nourishing effects and stuff like that. So I like to choose the strongest one. Rare is more powerful than common, so we're gonna go with that one. And so that changes my dash. Before, when I was dashing around, nothing happened. Now when I dash, a gust of chill comes out. And so that can affect these enemies, and you can see that can hurt them pretty badly, honestly. And that is just one of the very, very many boons you can get. So right now I have the Shattered Shackle on, which makes it so that as long as I don't have a boon for my attack, special, and cast, they deal 100% more damage. So this is a really good one to start with because you usually don't get boons until, you know, halfway through the first world. So for at least half of the levels, you get to deal more damage. Okay, and then we have a choice here. We have the choice of going through this chamber because you want to. So you defeat enemies to get through a chamber. They won't let you leave unless you defeat them all. Once you defeat them all, you're usually given a choice. Sometimes it's multiple chambers. You get to choose between one of how many, or maybe it's a chamber and a chaos gate, or maybe it's a chamber and Erebus gate, which is what this is. Erebus gates are kind of like high risk, high reward situations where so if you look at this chamber, it's just the symbol for the currency and nothing else. If you look at this chamber, you get to see the heart, and then beneath it you see a skull and 2 up arrows. So that means this is like a high reward chamber, but it's going to be difficult. So with Erebus gates, you can't get hit or you don't get the reward. And so these can be really great if you feel pretty confident that you aren't going to get hit. But if you do get hit, it's kind of a pain. We're kind of hurting feelings right now. Alright, so that was pretty good.
No problem.
And I can probably slow down in the next one to explain my moves a little bit more. That one I didn't really want to mess with. Okay, so I'm going to run around a little bit. You can see that these guys, they have a purple line. That's one of the armored foes get another perk. So if I were to walk in between that purple line, it would hurt me. Oh, that's not true. There we go. I don't know why it didn't hurt me the first time. But yeah. The purple line hurts you, so not only do you have to avoid the foes, but with like little groups like this, they become more difficult. And that's just what that purple flashlight in the top, it looks like a flashlight, the purple flashlight by their name means. And so you'll see it again, there they come, and they're trying to hurt me, but I'm just avoiding them. And then I can dash to hurt them. Once I see that it's safe to dash, that was a bad one. Or I could attack, or I could use my special.
Sweet.
And then once you clear a room, you get a reward. And I just broke, I guess a vase, and that gives me some oval, but it only works if you break the gold ones. Like these ones are just regular, so breaking them doesn't really do anything. And then kind of back to the columns, one thing I could have done is hit that column and had them fall there. These, I don't know what to call them. They're almost like pressure sensitive panels in the floor. And whenever you step on them, typically that means a trap is going to activate. So I'll see if I can show that in this next one. Okay, so yeah, this is a good one. So this right here, that purple thing, triggers a bomb. This is another one, triggers a bomb. So if I can get enemies in that bomb area, it hurts them. And then there's a trap in the middle. You see those spikes? So I'm just kind of baiting people around the spikes. He captured me. And that's pretty much all the traps for this room. And you can see on a lot of these guys, they have the blue foot symbol. That just means they're fast. So you can see them moving pretty quickly. And not only do they move quickly, but they attack more quickly. So you can see how some of them are a little bit, like those look like ghosts compared to, let me run back down to this one at the bottom. So these ghost ones, they only take one hit, or I guess 2 hits, one for the armor, one for their actual health. But then these are the real ones. And once you defeat all the real ones, the ghost ones go away. So we got some money for that chamber. We're able to either go out to the next chamber, which would be a HP gate, where we get, you can see in the bottom left, I have 76 out of 100. Typically those HPs are 25 each, so the next one would get me to 125. I started at 50 though, and I'm at 100 now. That's because we did that Erebus gate. That was a high risk, high reward situation, and we got 50 HP instead of 25. But chaos gates are really useful. They pretty much work on the premise that you're going to make your life more difficult for a little while to make the game easier in the long run, if you survive. And if you don't have the chaos keepsake, which we don't, it costs you health to enter one. So we're going to lose 21 health here. But it's generally super worth it. And we also have some health to spare right now. So that's chaos. They're giving us 3 choices here. So we could take more damage for 3 encounters, and then afterwards we'd gain an extra cast. So that would be 4 casts instead of 3, which could be a big deal. We could have our total life reduced and then end up gaining more money afterwards, which is always nice. Or we could get bombs thrown at us every time we defeat a foe and then get 72 total health or max health later. And so I'm going to choose this one. It's epic. These 2 are common. So typically as the rarity goes higher, the better the reward here. So this 72 health is a bigger deal, honestly, than the cast or the money at this point. And so we will choose that one. Another thing that goes into my decision here is like, how many encounters do I have to survive to make this happen? All of these are 3, so it's not a big deal, but sometimes you'll have 3 or 4 or 5. And so I think that's the range, though. I think it's just 3, 4, or 5. So we're going to choose this one because it's the best. And then we have another choice here. So this is the Palm. It's a Palm of Power. It upgrades your boon by 1 level. So you can see here, my dash is level 2. And rarities typically upgrade your boons more. So if you go from common to rare to epic to heroic, that's going to be a bigger advantage for you. Like for this gust damage, if I went up in rarity, it'd probably bump me up, I'm just making this up, like 10, but if I go up in a level, maybe it'll only bump me up 5. So palms are great, but I'm gonna choose this other one. I think I mentioned this in another video. These are just kind of like the once per world, there's a specific character that resides in that area, and you can go talk to them, and usually you're buddies with them, and they'll give you some goodies. So I'm gonna get some goodies from a buddy. And you can kind of see here, but there's something shiny happening here. That's one of those bosses I was talking about earlier. So if I smack that, you can see in the bottom right, I just got plus 15. So hopefully this is, one, helpful for just understanding the game, but two, gives a little bit more context to some of the stuff that I do when I play. So this is my buddy, I should know his name, but I don't. Sisyphus. Yeah. And he is offering either healing, darkness, or obol. And I almost always take the obol because healing is useful, but I don't really need it right now. Darkness is cool, but I can get it in other ways. Obol is almost always useful. Then you can talk to good old Boldy here and offer him up a little present.
Looks like you and Sisyphus are doing just fine, Baldy.
And he'll talk back to you, I guess. I don't really know. But then he does give you a little reward, so +3 damage reduction. Awesome. And so now we're going off into another chamber. This one is... oh. This one is a good one in terms of hecticness. So those purple balls are like... these are little like wizard casting spells, I guess. And so I'm just trying to dodge the balls. See, I got hit there twice. It took off 5 each time. And you see that near miss that pops over my head when I just barely dodge something? That near miss actually gives me extra attack power for a limited time. So you do kind of want to get close to getting hit, which is probably another reason that this game looks so confusing sometimes, because it's like, why are you so close to danger when you could just stay far away and just like do this a bunch? It's because I can kill enemies more quickly by being more in danger. And those bombs you see are the ones that we are getting from the chaos boon. So every time we kill an enemy, a bomb gets thrown at us. Yeah, this is a really good level to kind of explain. I also didn't realize that the bombs even happen for the ghost enemies, which is a little wild.
So let's please make up for lost time.
Ooh. That's the call I was talking about earlier. So this one will give you, it turns you into like a spinning blade of death that makes you impervious. And this is actually a really good call. There are a couple of upgrades that you can get to it that makes it just kind of like melt people. There aren't really a ton of traps in this one. There's that column and that column, but that was really it. I want to hopefully show some of like the shooting ones. These are more spikes, more spikes. Ooh. Okay, so whoo, this is getting gnarly. I'm gonna actually just kind of try to beat this one quickly because it's almost a little bit too, yeah. So I just died, but one of my power-ups is that I can die.
For the mirror.
If you look in the bottom left, you can kind of see above that red bar, there's 3 circles. 2 of them are filled with like a little face. I can die that many times and I can defy death. There's also another power-up where like, instead of having a limited number of times you can die once per level, which is useful for some other builds. I probably, oh yeah, I wasn't really paying attention. I should have used that as an example level.
I bring you strength and comfort, and I shall be watching every step of yours most carefully.
Most carefully. I do love some weak. So we're finally powering up our attack. So we don't deal 100% damage for it, but we deal 68 and we inflict a status curse, which is very helpful. So these little like platforms I was talking about, and you see that, what is that? Is that a lion scorpion in the middle? Whenever you step on those, it would raise up and shoot something out. So that would have been a good one to show you that trap, but I was too... Ooh, here you go. There you go. That's exactly what I wanted to show. Whoa, relax. So like that can be really helpful for some of these situations. Oh, and this is a good example too. So you see, you hear that noise they keep making? Yeah, and then you see the blue lights that go around them. They're making themselves so that the first few times you hit them, you don't actually damage them. And the more they do that, the more times I have to hit them before I can actually damage them. You can see the 4 blue hearts above their heads, or one has 5, I think. So yeah, I just have to like really keep my eye on them and make sure that they don't have time just to add more and more defense. And the faster you kill them, typically the better here. Which is another reason why I guess it can be kind of hard to explain this game, because a lot of times the longer you wait to do something, the more difficult it becomes. Ooh, we're gonna make a quick spin. So that is Daedalus, I think, and whenever you actually, before I pick that up, I'll just explain Daedalus. So Daedalus helps you upgrade your weapon, and so now I charge up for my max spin a lot faster, and I recover for it a lot faster, because before when I let go, I kind of had to sit there for a second and gain my composure before I could move, but now I can charge up pretty fast and move, which is great for this particular build, because like I said, once you hit someone with this spin move, they take, how much damage is it? 150% more damage. So, and you can start to see kind of like how crazy damage stacks, which is really important when you're trying to go fast, because you get 150 damage from the punishing sweep, and then I had 100 damage for my attack, my special, and my cast, and then I have other bonus damage up here, like 75% damage when I hit someone for the first time. That Ruthless Reflex thing that I was telling you about, when I get that near miss symbol over my head, that gives me 50% extra damage for 2 seconds. And then when you use your cast, most of the time, maybe not most of the time, some of the times, it can kind of get lodged inside of an enemy. When that happens, I have a power up that makes it so I deal 50% more damage to that person. And then 25% damage if I'm over 80% health, which is not the case now. 40% extra damage if they're afflicted by at least 2 status curses, which is why I liked picking up that weak one. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, these things actually add up and they are important. And earlier I said I didn't want to buy the darkness because there are other ways to get darkness, and this is one of them. This is kind of Charon's Wells, where you can pick up different things that he's selling for Obel. And so I have a power up that allows me to gain health whenever I gain darkness. So plus 22 darkness gives me plus 13 health, always worth it. And then that symbol at the bottom, I think it's called like the Fated Persuasion. What is it called? Fated Persuasion. So you can randomly alter a boon or a Well of Charon choice. And the first time you do it, it costs 1. The second time you do it, it costs 2. And I've never done it more than twice, I don't think. But the reason I kind of altered it there was because I would love to get another Chaos Gate, because getting Chaos Gates early in the game is much easier than getting them later in the game.
Seal the chamber.
Oh, and every now and then you have one of these levels where you just have to survive. So I don't actually have to attack anyone, kill anyone. I just have to not die. And one thing I've never tried is not killing anyone. So let's see. Which honestly, not a bad strategy, because as you kill enemies, more and more spawn. At least this way you know exactly like who the enemies are. And I guess if you just kept running like this, although it's a little boring, it keeps them all pretty preoccupied. And here's the Erebus Gate that we might take.
Why do I even bother?
Oh, and here's our reward. Ooh. Okay. So the Erebus Gate. Oh, and one thing about the Erebus Gates is they require a certain level of heat. So like you can't even go in them if you're not using the Pact of Punishment. And so for the the first world is 5, the second world is 10, for the third world is 15. So I could only do it in the first 2 levels. I don't mind picking up a palm because it'll be 2 levels instead of 1. But I also would not be mad at... let's do this because that'll be a better example. So whenever you choose one of these doors that has 2 options, that means that you are going to... the gods are going to make you choose between one of their offerings or the other. And whichever one you don't choose tries to fuck you up. But before I do that, here is a... what are these called? A treasure trove. And I'll come back to it after we fight everyone. Here are some more of those bosses. So let's break those. Got 30 coin. And I think Demeter is a little bit easier to avoid than Ares. So I'm going to choose Ares. He's going to be so tickled. Let's just do attack, special, and cast, deal more damage. No, we'll do Curse of Pain because that'll allow us to do 2 statuses and start to get some of that 40% damage in.
Do you believe I give my blessings liberally, Zagreus?
No,
I
ma'am.
have news for you.
Lady Demeter, apologies.
Okay, I'm gonna... yeah, this is a good example. Okay, so you see that... he died too fast. I'll try to show you in a second. Wow, they are... okay. I don't think I can show you on this level. I think it's gonna get too wild. Ooh. Ooh. You could kind of see it for a second there, but you see that black... No, I can't pause and show you either, dang.
Oh, damn it.
This is not going great, but we have a whole another life, so it'll be alright. There we go. Okay.
So you survived a little winter's chill, didn't you there? Be careful though. Your next season could be worse.
So you see this symbol is kind of like a, I don't know, it looks like a vortex. Whenever an enemy is afflicted by 2 curse statuses, 2 status curses, you'll see a similar symbol, but it'll be like a orangish middle and a black outside. And so I'll try to point it out next time it happens. Let's do when all foes are chill afflicted, they are 10% slower and decay, because that decay damage... damage over time is a big deal in this game, and the more you can kind of like pair that up, the quicker you can see people go down. Oh yeah, these are much better examples. Okay, so you see this dude? Nope. Let me do this first. Alright, you see that orange? Yeah, look at him.
Back to the lowest depths with them.
And the one thing about the treasure troves, the faster you defeat the enemies, the bigger the rewards you receive. And this is Charon's shop, which I like to choose whenever I can, because he usually has lots of options.
Here's the fee.
So I'm gonna get... I'll do the God Gauge one. Oh, and the God Gauge is what I need to fill up in order to use the call. And I'm gonna get a palm to level up. Let's level up our attack, why not? Cool. I think we're good to go. So I might just fight this boss. So this is a good example of the extreme measures. without the extreme measures, you just fight one of these 3 sisters. But with it, you get to fight multiple. And they are formidable. And I would very much like to not die. So far, so good. So you can see that I afflicted her with 2 status curses, and then I also lodged the cast in her. So she was taking, that sounds weird. She was taking a lot of damage. I didn't use my summon, which I would like to do before I end the video, just to show you what that looks like. So once you complete a world, you get to come into these little chamber rooms where you get to heal up at a well. You get to change your keepsake. And so I no longer want to use this one that gives me 100% damage while I don't have a boon, because I have boons on 2 out of 3, so this is becoming less useful for me. Instead, I'm going to change it. Usually I kind of go between like 3 or 4. I like the Pierce Butterfly, but it's better if you start from the beginning because you gain 2% damage every time you clear an encounter without taking damage. So you can get up to like plus 30 something percent damage, maybe even higher, but that's just as high as I've gotten. I like the idea of this one. It's like a similar thing, but it's dodge, chance, and speed if you quickly clear an encounter, but it's never actually been that useful for me, so I don't really rely on it much. I like using this one. It just gives you a palm after every 4 encounters for a random boon, which is really nice because you can like have a bunch of common boons and then just level them up. And sometimes if I really want like a particular boon from a particular god, I'll choose one of these, but usually I choose the Cosmic Egg because it gives you 40% chance of being rare better versus 20%. So all that said, we're gonna go with the Black Shawl. I don't think that's true. We might go with the palm. And these are all given to you by people in the game, so it's cool to this is a little bit of a spoiler if you're just starting the game, but it's cool to kind of get some backstory for all of them. So Death Defiance is that thing I was talking about earlier where when I die I come back. I can replenish that, but it costs 200. I'm not gonna replenish it because I think I'll be okay, and also because there is a one of the friends in one of the areas has a thing that allows you to refill all of them for free. There's also a couple of boons from Athena that you can buy that will that will let you replenish your Death Defiance. And then you can sell stuff for money. So like if you saw something in this that you're like, oh, that's amazing, but you didn't have the money for it, you could sell something to get it. I usually don't sell much stuff unless it's just a boon that I don't like, or I know that I'm about to get a bunch of really good boons. Like there are different things that you can either buy or get from some of your friends that allow you to increase the rarity of your boons. And so maybe, you didn't get that until the 2nd or the 3rd world. So a lot of your boons are common. So you could sell them off and know that you're going to get rare or epic ones. And that ding means that there's a fish to be fished. We broke a couple of those bosses for money. And it looks like our next chamber is the Power of Love, which fittingly so is one of the most powerful boons. Not only does it make you stronger, but it makes your opponent weaker, which is, there's a lot of them. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention in that boss fight was that I was also using the punishing sweep to make it another 150 bonus damage, so I was really giving it my all on that one.
In the name of Hades.
And this is a perfect example of what I was just talking about. So weak is the status curse, and so like in the case of my attack, here we go, I get plus 88% attack damage, but it also inflicts weak, which makes the victim deal at least 30% less damage. And then we're actually tacking on another, they are more susceptible to damage, so they take 15% more damage. So yeah, stacking damage is a huge part of this game. And I just want to check to make sure this is what I want to do. Like if either of those two chambers were amazing, I might choose them, but neither of them are, so I'm going to choose Chaos. And I want to show the
In the name of Hades.
I want to show the traps in Asphodel, because they're a little bit different from Tartarus, where the world we just left, and they're a little bit more subtle, so I think it'll be good to explain them to give you more context of what's happening. So none of these are amazing. I usually don't like the ones where you're getting more foes, especially when I'm trying to go fast. That would be okay for this one, but I don't think I'm going to choose it. And then I'm actually probably going to choose this one. So it's only 3 encounters. This one's 3, this one's 4. And it's every time you cast, you get hurt for 4 health, but afterwards you gain an extra cast. Extra cast is super useful. And it's not too difficult to just not cast, so. Usually when I say that though, I do actually end up accidentally casting and hurting myself, so. Oop. So those guys are similar to what we faced earlier. Like you see him holding a bomb and he just threw one at me. So once you kill them, they drop a bomb. So you want to make sure that you dodge away. So you can see those status curses starting to be a big part of what I'm doing.
Come on now, boss. Let's get you moving here.
There was something that popped in my brain that I wanted to show you, but it disappeared pretty quickly, so I might have to try to create it. Let's see. So I don't love any of these, mostly because they're common. Like Flurry Cast at Epic is like 60% cast speed, which is pretty amazing, and I think this one goes up to 30%. I've never liked Hyper Sprint. This is one that I almost always sell, but I don't want to buy it. I don't want to get it as a common because I think when you sell it, it'll only be like 30 obols, so it's honestly not worth it. So let's just do whenever you hit, you have a chance to dodge automatically. So this is a good thing to explain too. There are different mechanics in the game that help you stay alive, and dodging is one of them. So like every time I get hit, there's a 10% chance that I will dodge that hit and not get hit. And usually it says dodge over top of my head whenever that happens. Before I start this trove trial, I wanted to call out some of the traps in Asphodel. So like these are similar to the columns where I can hit them, stuff falls. This, you can see that I slow down when I walk over it. It's because it's lava, hot lava. And it damages me, as you saw there. And it looks like it scales up, which I did not know. So the longer I stay in it, the more damage I take. That is also true for the enemies. So oftentimes you might see me kind of like push enemies out into the lava. That's not because I'm trying to ignore them. It's because I can let them die over there while I fight another enemy and go faster. So let's do it.
That does not belong to you.
Oh, and another thing about Asphodel. Ooh, these guys are so strong. is you'll start to see lava kind of pop up from the ground, and that'll create little lava spots on the floor where there wasn't one before, so I have to be very careful of where I walk. We're gonna choose this one because we're gonna get a better reward for it.
Moving right along.
Ooh, this is a good one for me to show the summon. Okay, so earlier I talked about summoning, and I said that my friends would come and help me defeat my enemies. So that's what it just said in the top left. It said press L2 for support, which is what we're gonna do. But I kind of want to wait until we just have one left so it's easier to see. And you can see that I just got hurt by that lava that wasn't previously there before. Okay, so here's our summon. That's one dude coming and chopping. That's another dude coming and chopping. And so those are really helpful for boss fights when you want to just kind of either clear something out quickly or or just give yourself a little bit of breathing room. This is great. Yeah, so a lot of the duo boons are like the best boons in the game, so we're just gonna pick that one. And pretty much what it's saying is, ooh, that's a hard choice. I'll finish my thought first. Pretty much what it's saying is anyone that's inflicted with weak takes the doom curse continuously, so as long as they're weak. And there's also a boon later on that makes it so that your weak status lasts longer. So if I hit someone with my attack, either this one or the spinning one, that makes them weak. And then if I hit them with the special, that gives them doom. And then doom does 60 damage. And so it's saying that it'll do 60 and then 30 and then 15 and then 7.5 and then so on and so forth until the weak status has gone away. And weak lasts for 4 seconds. So pretty good, especially if I can power up both of those things. So this is kind of a hard choice because my special friend over here has a beautiful singing voice, and also she gives me a drink that makes my boons more powerful, either by increasing their level or their rarity. I really like a lot of Hermes boons, and they're not often more than common. And this almost guarantees that it's going to be more than common. So the real question is like, do I want to guarantee a really good Hermes boon, or do I want to guarantee like 3 good boons, even if they're not Hermes? Let's go against the grain. I usually choose the singing lady, so. Her name's Eurydice. I should
Wretches of the underworld, take him.
clarify that. The other thing about this is like, it's not, oh no, this is bad. The other thing about this is that they're not guaranteed, and so I'm thinking really hard on this one. We're like, yeah. Okay. So this was a mistake for so many reasons. Not only did we just die our last free death, but also since we got hit, we don't get the sweet Hermes boon. We instead get an onion, which gives us 2 health. Ugh. Yeah, that wasn't great. Honestly, not feeling really good about this run at all. A lot of times with enemies, if you hit their attacks like that, it will get rid of them. So like you see those coming at me now, if I do that, they're gone. Okay. Not feeling good about this.
I'll take this one.
Yes, this is also a really great part of weak, is that you can charm people with it, and that just means that they'll fight for you. For a short time, victim fights for you with greater strength and speed. So this is also really good against bosses because it makes it so that you don't have to worry about them trying to hurt you for a hot second.
Good.
All right, let's see if we can turn it up a little bit, go a little bit faster, and then hopefully all the things that we've been talking about up to this point make a lot more sense. So as you can see here, there's some lava. I don't want to step in it. There's lava because we added in the Pact of Punishment. Wanted to make that the bosses a little bit more difficult. I guess I haven't explained why you use the Pact of Punishment. Mostly it's just for funsies. I mean, there are definitely like rewards and stuff you get that you wouldn't get otherwise, but also it's just because like a big part of the mechanic of this game and games like this game is playing it over and over again. And if you played it over and over again the same exact way, it would get pretty boring. So being able to add individual challenges makes it a lot more interesting. And you can see that the status curse is hurting my man's feelings. Those purple things are like little shockwaves that the little mini boss is sending out. And you can see that heart over his head just meant that he was charmed. And when he was charmed, he wasn't trying to attack me.
I'll take that.
Alrighty, I think I am just gonna finish out this video instead of pausing it halfway through, just so you can, if you care, you can get the satisfaction of seeing it all the way through. And if you don't care, you can just stop. But I'll probably do a little bit less explaining now and just kind of try to play like I usually would. And then if, you know, random things kind of pop up, I'll explain them along the way. But honestly, gonna be focusing a lot on not dying because it ain't looking good.
Time to pick a fight.
Another Hermes door, since I fucked up the last one and didn't get it. Oh, so I don't know if you saw it or not, but I just dodged something. And I think it was because of that boon we picked up earlier that gave us a 10% chance to dodge. And you can see that heart, that meant he was charmed. And you can see that status symbol means he's doubly cursed. And then we got another boring ass Hermes boon again. We'll do this one. Doing another trial trove. And right now we probably are getting the, or we definitely should be, getting the damage boost for having over 80% health. So definitely want to hold on to that as long as we can. So you can see how I just kind of like walked away from that one because I knew the doom was going to hit him. That's another great thing about curses is the damage over time lets you, I think like I mentioned earlier, just kind of like move on. And I like to kind of circle my way around enemies. That way I don't just get stuck in the same place. And when I'm going fast, he's charmed. You can see him hurting his friend. I don't know if they're friends. Probably just like work partners. I think I was saying that I like to kind of walk around. One, so like, you know, the enemy doesn't know where you are, but two, it also makes it so that you can get a like better idea of what else is around you. And so if you see a trap that you want to use, or maybe you see one of these wells that you know you need to go back to after the level's over, stuff like that. And this is a good example of when a god offers you, if you ever get the option to replace one of your boons, it's always going to be stronger than the one you have. So it's the gods making you choose, and they're offering you the better one because they want you to think that they are better. And in this particular case, I am going to take it because we have so many things that get triggered with weak. I don't know. I should buy this because we don't have any right now, but I could save 200 and hope that I get lucky, which is, I think, what we're going to do.
What else is there?
Nice. So that's going to give us upgraded rarity for our next boon. And then we got another one. Let's go. This isn't what I really want, but it's what we'll take. Okay, so the reason I was a little nervous is because I didn't want to get 2 boons here that were 150 each because I only had enough for 1. So this actually worked out pretty well. I like this one a lot, so we're gonna take that. Ooh, and I love some lightning, but I think I'm gonna go with the beam. And when I say the beam, I'm assuming that I'm gonna get the option to get a cast. They're charmed. I'm gonna try to hurt this one a little bit so it doesn't turn into a adult. There we go. That was really fast. Special is stronger and inflicts chill. I don't really want it, but I could use it. Every 3 encounters. I think this is okay. I don't think it's a good idea, but I'm gonna go with it. I'm being a little extra risky this round anyways. So the reason this probably isn't a great idea is because it increases your boon rarity every 3 encounters. I'm not sure how many encounters I'll have left before I fight Hades, if I make it to Hades. But it changed 3 that I don't actually, or it changed 2 that I don't actually care about, so that's perfect. I was a little afraid that it would reduce this one back, or reduce this one or this one back. So yeah, that was actually a really good decision. And look at us, we got lucky as shit, because we're about to get all of our death defiances.
Achilles and I were just passing the time, I guess.
We about to get them all back with the kiss of Styx. Replenishes all uses of death defiance.
Don't need it anyway.
Thank you.
Ooh. Daedalus would be great, but I'm very interested in what areas can provide for me. I think I chose Ares last time. Ooh. That's annoying. She wants me to take her boon back for the dash, but I was kind of excited about not having hers. Yeah, so in this case it's actually not that big of a jump, and with all the status bonuses I get from week, I'm not going to do it. I might though respin and see if I get something juicy. I sure didn't, but that's okay.
War shall be waged here, no matter what, my kin.
You can see on the right side there, there's a well of Charon, and there's also another Erebus gate. We won't be able to go in the Erebus gate because we don't have enough heat on us, but we can check out the well, see if we get something good. I shouldn't have picked that up. I should have waited until after, because yeah, I'm getting hurt now. Oh, and the thing that, oh yes, proud of myself. The thing that I wanted to talk about earlier was whenever I do that thing where I dodge just in time, that near miss, if you look at the body of my character, that was another dodge too, that was dope. If you look at the body of my character, you'll see like some orange, not orange, it almost looks like lightning surrounding him. That's just showing you that I have that 50% boost and extra dodge chance. Ooh. Let's do the cast.
The War God's power.
We will definitely take another use of the summon.
That.
That gets us back up to 4. That'll just help us be a little bit faster. And then I try not to choose the heart one too often. We're going for money, baby. Oh yeah, look at that cast go. But that's actually a good example of, this is a particular cast where it doesn't get lodged in anyone. So that's definitely something to take into consideration when you choose. Whoa, relax, bro. When you choose your casts. Oh, that was annoying. So these shield dudes really suck because you have to get behind them in order to do any damage. We're probably not going to sell anything. We could sell this. We could sell this because I don't know how long we're going to keep that special, but we'll hold on to it in case we want to sell it later. And we're going to do this to get our health all the way back, which should hopefully give us our 80% damage bonus back, which is a pretty big deal. Not 80%, 20% after being 80% health or higher.
That's quite enough.
And since we're not like going for time or anything here, that's not a big deal at all. Usually when I'm trying to go fast, I don't open those up at all. Which is a little sad. I think that is one of the things that is kind of fun in a weird way about this game, is like when I go fast, I don't necessarily get to appreciate some of the little things. But there is a lot of joy in just like beating the game very quickly. And I've never really played a game before where I enjoyed speedrunning. So it's been cool for me too to play something new in that regards. Also, one of the reasons that I kind of chose this game to stream as one of my very first games is because I am definitely... Ooh, this is the first time I used my call. This is the first time it's charged up. You see that bar in the bottom right? It's like on fire, and now it's going down. That's the God gauge. And these two just leveled up from that boon that we got earlier that decreased the rarity, but it's growing it over time. Where is that? Rare crop. And to finish my thought from earlier, I was just saying that I'm definitely notorious for, like when I play, you know, like combat or like shooting games with my friends, like not talking when things get very intense. And so I thought that this would be a great way to just kind of practice that, and also just to give me a point of reference of like, is this something that I feel comfortable doing? We didn't need to buy that, but we did. And if I hadn't replenished all of my Death Defiances, that would have been a great purchase, but I think that was honestly a waste of money. Okay, so I'll try to explain these a little bit. Oh my god.